Excellent. So I'm happy to invite Trevor, and you just heard Nate's voice from Energy Star. We've been talking about the customer journey mapping report that Energy Star, in collaboration with C+C and Trevor's team, conducted earlier this year. And Nate's got some exciting updates on the market acceleration guide that he'll follow up with. So with that, Trevor, take it away.
Okay. Can everybody hear me all right?
Sounds
All
great.
good.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, just to get I know that we talked about this as far back as maybe December that we were working on this. And it has been a journey unto itself. So we're really excited about the outcomes here. And I think I want to just get everyone centered in sort of the purpose of what we're trying to do. As you all know, just a quick note on C+C. We do a lot of the communications and marketing work for Energy Star program, as well as a lot of other work in the energy space on the marketing, outreach, and engagement side, as well. So I've been working with heat pump water heaters for a long time, and this was a great project for us. Really, our company's focus is around behavior change, specifically around social marketing and community-based social marketing. So that's really like measuring and looking at how to change behaviors for good. And we obviously all have our challenge ahead of us with heat pump water heaters, and behind us. A lot of us have been working in this space for a long time. So we know a lot of us know the challenges here internally, but we're trying to make the implicit explicit in this report to get folks centered around some of the barriers and motivators and the different market actors and their journeys to behavior change in the market. So heat pump water heaters, multiple market actors are influencing the market, consideration and approval from the end user all the way up to the manufacturer. Continued, we still have a low adoption, especially in the retrofit market, but throughout the channel. The biggest thing here in our experience is that oftentimes the teams implementing programs, creating marketing campaigns, and conducting market engagement are rarely aligned around a backbone and a common understanding about how to market, engage the market, design the program so that we can get maximum uptake and transform the market. So what Energy Star's goal was here is to really help market actors and partners and all of us increase the adoption of heat pump water heaters. That's the larger goal. So the objective of this project is to create a central set of resources that can be leveraged by all of you. And specifically, it really focuses on utility stakeholders that are running programs, that are communicating directly with the market. Our approach, because there is a lot of research out there, we conducted a deep literature review of the research, audience research out there, and also trends. We looked, and then we took to interview industry stakeholders, some of whom are probably on this call and are eager to weigh in. So a lot of industry experts from different sectors, but specifically, we took all that and synthesized the research using our social marketing principles to map the behavior change journey of a couple of different focus audiences, and then also create some high-level baseline messaging, as well as identify marketing opportunities and program intervention strategies. Now, a lot of this will be integrated into the market acceleration guide that Nate will give an update on in a little bit. But for this project, we kept it fairly narrow, and we've really focused on electric to electric retrofits in the wholesale channel. So with our two priority audiences being retrofit plumbing contractors and homeowners. So Energy Star has a set of consumer messaging, and we love the opportunity to get more focused on some of that messaging in the upcoming months. Now we have a whole deck of that are filled with kind of insights and feedback and quotes from our stakeholder interviews. But really, this is just a high level summary of the insights, and this will come as no surprise to many of you. But the biggest barrier that came out of everything was really for plumbing contractors was the misperceptions and concerns about the technology, and matching that, overcoming that with marketing strategies to include like myth busting, driving consumer demand, and we'll get into that a little bit, while directing contractors to training resources by manufacturers and other stakeholders in the market. The biggest barrier for consumers is really being steered away at this point from or not even engaged about heat pump water heaters during the sales process. So, for example, the customer asks their plumbing contractor even about a heat pump water heater, and the plumbing contractor will steer them away from the product because, they're not comfortable with it. They have, based on these misperceptions about the technology, et cetera, et cetera. So for plumbing contractors, one of the big intervention points that came up in these interviews was, focusing on supporting plumbing contractors with education, warranty support, hands-on training, just focusing on supporting that group, from the value proposition to installation to sales training. Consumer marketing and intervention strategies that came out of a lot of these successful programs, really building an understanding of the customer to the lifetime value proposition and trusting the technology, and doing that a lot through places that they trust, from places and peers that they trust in their community, and that includes the utility, especially where there is a level of trust there from the utility, sort of that source of truth. And then another one that came up, sparking demand through competitively priced promotions, marketing them directly to the consumer, so they can take action and drive demand in the market. And then make sure to include, installation options by vetted, qualified, trusted contractors, and building that network. Customer education upon the install is really important to building that sort of long-term loyalty and trust after they've made the behavior change, right? So we're on the one hand increasing product satisfaction, and on the other hand reducing callbacks. Okay, so I'm gonna just run through this really quickly, just to give you a sense of what's in the resource, but and feel free to ask questions afterwards, and we'll be able to share more of the resource in the next week or so, to share with this group and answer more questions and kind of dive deeper into it after I've stopped rambling. So what we did was, based on all of our research and interviews, we really mapped the behavior change process. And this is in social marketing, we use this C+C specifically, but we use this behavior change continuum, we call it, to map the behavior change, right? From no awareness through the behavior change and all the way to trust. And this works really well for products like heat pump water heaters, right? So we were able to go through and do this for both plumbers and consumers in this case. And like I said, electric to electric, wholesale channel, right? We're not, and this is high level, of course, but the idea is to help get folks centered around what behavior change looks like for these audiences, right? And then we went through and we mapped well, this got kind of of this kind of got a little wonky in the in changing decks from deck to deck, but you can kind of see that we put all of the key market actors into swim lanes, and then we map them based on their progress in the market. This is high level. We're going kind of a national focus here. Progress through behavior change based on their which market actor it is in the market. So, one of the insights was we were surprised at how far manufacturer reps are not quite on board all the way with heat pump water heaters. There were a couple of surprises in here that were, consumers and plumbing contractors not surprised about that. Manufacturers not surprised. Distributors, depending on the market, not surprised, right? So, like I said, this isn't a full picture, but at a high level nationally, this is where we landed. We were also able to, let's see here. This got kind of wonky as well, but we were also able, we also sort of mapped end state behavior goals for these two audiences. So for plumbers, in social marketing, we like to have one end state goal, but really with plumbing contractors, there's really kind of three separate behavior changes that we're asking them to do along the way. One is committing to sell heat pump water heaters, so we have to get them there, right? The second one is they got to get trained, and they got to get trained in sales and installation, right? And then they have to be ready to offer heat pump. They're going to actually offer heat pump water heaters to customers. And that, my friends, as you know, is a long journey for many. And so you kind of have to have separate messaging and separate strategies depending on where these markets fall. These plumbers in the market fall, right? Overall and also individually, for your outreach and engagement teams. So consumers, that says proactively request and or will ask to replace a standard tank with a heat pump water heater. So that's an easier one overall, is that single end state behavior that we're asking them to, we're trying to get them to do. We also laid out, I won't go through this too much, but we also laid out the ideal path to purchase for proactive replacements and emergency replacements. So you can see that, you'll be able to see that in there. We were able to kind of hone this in through our stakeholder interviews, which was really cool. And I'm sure that this isn't for every market. It may be a little different, but this gives us a baseline again. And then we really focused on each audience, insights, messages, and potential interventions. And I do want to just say that this is at a high level, and depending which market you're in, where they're at in their behavior change journey, what kind of programs are available, what kind of workforce development programs, you're going to want to, as a utility or as a key stakeholder in the market, the assessment of that will vary these results based on the market or your trade ally network or those types of things. And you're going to want to do that work yourself to go ask the market, to go ask the plumbers where they're at, go find that out. So again, a baseline, right? We're trying to get a baseline for understanding for folks that are working in the market. So obvious, plumbers low, they have an awareness, but they're low. They don't understand. They don't trust the technology. And the top barrier that we came up with is that misperceptions about technology and performance, and really concerns about installation complexity. And the third one, those kind of two go together, concerns about callbacks and servicing. Those all kind of go together there. Again, for plumbers, top motivators are customer demand and support for the product. They're not seeing it, right? So why am I getting in there? and the second one is really codes and standards, legislation coming down the pike. There's more detail in the report, and so we kind of also lay out some of the top marketing opportunities for folks, and then we created a value proposition and sort of messaging framework that surround those motivators and barriers that are tied to them. So we created a value proposition for plumbing contractors and sort of a main message for them that folks can pick and choose from as they're creating their communications in the market. And then we got more detailed in a audience messaging map. So we have the theme on the left, the key message to go with that theme. So that's your top line messaging, and then several proof points that can be used to help, double down on that source of truth piece and build trust through proof points. So these can be used for, modified and used for sales collateral, for program collateral. The idea is that, and then obviously customized to the market and the need and the program design and all of the things that are different in every state and local market. Energy Star, again, working at a top level. So I think, let me see, navigate forward. Let me just, yep. All right. So can everyone see the next step slide, or is that right?
Yeah, we can see them fine.
Great. Next steps for Energy Star. This resource will be part of the Market Acceleration Guide. We're working with Energy Star to figure out if we want to release it separately as a separate document as well. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then for Energy Star, we're updating consumer messaging. We're looking deeper at the plumbing contractor journey and really looking to pursue specific regions and journeys. I mean, we've seen that as just an enormous need for folks, is understanding that plumbing market. And then we'll also have a more in-depth learning session and discussion session at the Energy Star product partner meeting in September. So that's the update so far.
Thanks a ton, Trevor. Really appreciate that. I guess my first question, if we have maybe a couple minutes, a minute or two for other questions from folks, is the intended audience utilities, if it's going in the Market Acceleration Guide, to help them set up programs where they're recruiting contractors, or and if not, who are the other audiences that you could see using this?
Yeah, definitely utilities are a huge audience here, right? Like, because they're the ones communicating directly to the market. But I can also see this being this particular project being useful for manufacturers and manufacturer reps. I can see it being helpful for distributors in communicating the value proposition to contractors. So it's anybody who's trying to directly market or intervene in the market with customers and these market audiences, these market actor audiences, excuse me. So I would say that while it is a little skewed towards utilities, especially in the and with the Market Acceleration Guide, Nate, you can correct me on that, but it is skewed towards that, but the messaging is still applicable to other market actors in their B2B marketing, especially, but also end use customers too.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, thanks for that. I think we're at time. If folks have other questions, we can put those in the chat. But why don't we keep the spotlight on Energy Star? We'll turn it over to Nate Jutras to talk to us about the Energy Star Market Acceleration.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be brief. We are this has kind of been waiting in the wings for a while, and we've gotten a chance to take a quick look at kind of the back end, but there's still it's sort of in staging, and there's been a few other Energy Star priority national campaigns that have taken um some of the focus. But we hope to have it up live on the website next month. You probably have all heard at some time or another about this effort. So what it is it is a guide, and I want to state one important element of it is it's really a living document. So the first iteration that goes up is still going to it's going to be kind of in its current form briefly, and then working with Trevor to get some of the information that he's provided and dug up. And I want to commend he and his team, because I think it's a great resource that he has developed, and it really aligns with what Paul and I have seen, and I think Joe, what you've seen in terms of the challenges that are out there, kind of the mindset that we have to change from the contractor's perspective. I mean, I see it all the time. Speaking with contractors and others in the field about just answering super basic questions, because they're just the awareness is so low. Like, oh, even a plumber who's actually installed heat pump water heaters, a few of them, and he was asking, hey, the water, do I need to neutralize it or anything like that? I didn't do that when I did an installation. I'm like, no, it's neutral. Water can, just like an air conditioner condensate, it's the same thing. So there's just it demonstrates how much more work we have to do. And what the acceleration guide does, it lays out the steps for a program to overcome these barriers, work both from the program design perspective, working with the workforce, and educating the public and driving demand there, because that really is in those areas where there's not awareness, general awareness, early adopters who are asking for it, and the plumbers have to kind of say, all right, you really want this? And that was the case with this plumber. He said, yeah, suddenly in the past 5 months, we've gotten more requests for heat pump water heaters than I've gotten in probably the last 5 years. And he didn't quite understand why. But just as an example. Yeah, so it's the guide provides a whole array of assets, tools, case studies, resources. And as I said, it's a living document, so we'll be continuing to update it regularly. People have asked for PDFs of it. I have PDF'd it for a few folks, but I'm reluctant to do that because it is going to be changing. I already have changes that will be made even after that first version goes live. So, and then we will be taking it on the road and taking every advantage to get it out there and share these resources. And we worked with partners from NIA to NEEP and manufacturers. So we feel like we have really good input from across the land, and looking forward to adding value wherever we can.
That's awesome. Thanks, Nate. What format is it in, or will it be in when it goes live? Just a web page, or will it be?
Yeah, it'll be like,
Okay.
so, yeah, sort of a web portal with a library of content. And we'll have to stay on top of that because we can't really I had been planning on PDFing some of it. We have some issues doing that just from a federal website perspective. So we'll be having to stay on top of a lot of the links that we provide in the library because those do change frequently.
Fantastic. And is the hope that this will help, utility setup programs, their own
Absolutely.
utility programs based on all of the
set up programs, improve programs, and we're trying to take a pretty realistic, maybe harsh tone. Some may feel like it, but need to be realistic because there's a lot of programs out there that think they're doing a good job, and and we've talked to some major utilities that they say, with millions of customers, and they say, yeah, we're going to try and we have some big goals. We're going to try and get 1,000 rebate 1,000 heat pump water heaters next year. And when we have a $500 rebate, and I go into their website, and you can't find anything about the program, and then you have a long list of things you need to fill out in order to get the $500 or whatever it is, and you might get it in 8 to 12 weeks, and they wonder why it's not having any impact. So
you need to get Andy Mayer from Efficiency Maine to talk some sense and
yeah. Well, we will include some plenty of resources from Efficiency Maine, including, there'll be you'll see some examples of advertising campaigns and program design, and but we're trying not to take everything from Efficiency Maine.
Yeah.
We want to show that others can do the job as well, and there's plenty from the Northwest too.
Yeah, for sure.
And elsewhere.
Great. Well, thanks so much, Nate. Trevor, I saw you coming on camera. Is there anything you wanted to leave folks with as well? Okay.
Nope. Just feel free to. I'll give you guys we'll give you a copy of it just so we have a point in time, but we're still working that out with Energy Star to make sure that we're not. Nate has a really good point in his philosophy here, because just sending a PDF, it's like it lives forever. And so people are working off old information. So we're really trying to keep it current and finding the best way to do that.
Great. Thanks. Paul, any thoughts on your end? And then we'll go to any updates from the group.
No, I was just going to say our good friend Ben Schott pictured there. He's going to have to hire an agent. We picture him so many times lately. So.
He's a great advocate.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. So excited about that Market Acceleration Guide and the customer journey mapping. Thanks for talking to us about that today.